Why is a handcrafted cutting board so costful? I need to clean up all the old worn out kitchen counters that I use. I found out that a carpenter really always is short of time, space, and clamps. This tumbling dice cutting board is made of cherry, mahogany, and oak. This is the part where I make the 3D effect. I'm originally a chef, and I believe in that you have to taste everything that you cook, everything that you do. This is actually not so bad. I made 3 pieces out of this batch. Here is 2 of them. This is the way I get rid of the squeeze out, the excessive glue. How does that glue taste? Let's have a look. No, it's not too bad. Whoops! That was close. Here I start on making the base of the cutting board. It's oak. How does that taste? Glue. Let's have a. How does it work? Let's see. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Let's have another one. Yeah, that was good. Oof. A bit strong though. Definitely good vintage. Clamps. Bring on the clamps. I need clamps. More clamps. Tighten them. Tighten them. Tighten, tighten, tighten. All right. There we go. It's time to glue up the base, the oak base. Very fast moving person. Glue on. Not much of a painter I am, but glue. Speed up. Final finish touch. And then I'm just making sure that they're all aligned. Line straight. And I'm keeping the pressure on the side so they don't slip. That's it. Now for the part that most carpenters people feel boring and boring. And well, I'm one of them as well. But safety first, and I have my dust mask on, and I start with grain 150. And this just goes on and on and on and on. And thank God I speeded up the film a bit, because it is boring. And here I attach the oak base to the 3D tumbling dice pattern. After 24 hours in pressure, it's time to cut off the edges to make them smooth. Here I'm measuring for the depth of the borders. The borders are going to be of cherry wood. It's as well an old, worn out kitchen counters that was probably going to end up at some junkyard, but I saved it. Hallelujah for me. Even though the kitchen counter was worn out and ugly and not usable for a kitchen counter anymore, it's beautiful wood as soon as it's polished and sanded down. It's clean, good wood, and deserves a chance of a good, beautiful life under a good, beautiful knife. It's time to put on the borders. I marked these borders with the 1, and they are matching my cutting board number 1, because there is a bit of a difference between 1, 2, and 3 in the depth of the boards. So I thought I was clever here. And the same thing goes for their end borders. 1 goes with 1. That's 1. That's right. I previously have made a few mistakes on this one and glued up borders that were too low or too high, and it just makes a lot of work sanding down afterwards. So I try to not to do that, and this seemed to work fine. This cutting board creator is happy. And now for the scary part of making juice grooves. Oh, I've made some mistakes in this part. Oh, I have I've screwed up a couple of boards, I must admit that. Strong man, yeah, strong man. It takes a lot of power to do what I do. Now that the cutting board is secured in my juice groove jig, my router can do the work. Cleaning up, changing the depth, and getting into the depth that I want my juice groove. And this is how I make a juice vessel. Homemade jig, tighten it, securing it, and the router. I make very small passes that take only a little bit of material at the time. So I make sure that is all even and smooth. Wow, it's beautiful, Casper. Well, thank you. This is my homemade router table. Comes out of an old cupboard, and well, it's a router table now. And it works. I got grips. This work is a bit boring, but very important, because there is always a bit of, cracks and things that need to be filled or else the board is going to suck up water and it's going to go to pieces. And I have a special mixture of my glue and some sawdust, and I fill it into the gaps with this syringe, and I can get quite deep down to fill it up, and it's very important. And on the other side as well, there's a bit of gaps and a little hole here and a little hole there, and you see there. And then smoothing it out with my spatula. And this is the hard part that I made quite easily, actually. I made this thing for my drill. It's got some sanding paper on there, and I can get into round areas, such as the juice vessel. And it also works very well for pedicure. No, that's a manicure. I think pedicure too. But it also goes well with a cutting board. And now it's smooth. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out how yet to make some machine to do this way, because this is quite hard. This is just sanding, 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 and the sandpaper gets hot and burn my fingers and I get blisters. It's all terrible, but I have to do it anyway because the juice grooves needs to be smooth as well. Sanding, 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 and then on to the machine work. I'm not going to bore you too much with this, so let's just say it's done. And then we have the other side, and we have the grips as well, and they need to be sanded by hand as well. And I might not show you that because it's a bit boring. This is very exciting though. The edges, wow, they need to be sanded. This is fun. Sanding edges is fun. Just look at me laughing. Well, you can't see me laughing, but behind that mask, trust me, I am laughing. Changing the discs from 150 to 240, and I will end up with 320. But that excitement I will keep on till later. I drilled down my rubber feet because my boards are from 4.5 to 5.5 centimeters thick, and it makes them stand quite high on the kitchen counter. So I drill them down, and there are some advantages to that as well. It doesn't wobble, for example, because it got the exact same distance from all the feet, so it's perfect for me. And now it's time to make the board wet so that the wood splinters they'll rise, and I can sand my cutting board with a 320 grit. I put water on it, and I have an exciting feature for you in a moment, so stick with me. This is going to be really exciting. I made a film. You know, watching paint dry is very boring. Now, this is the movie where you watch water dry. Now, isn't that exciting? Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, it's almost dry. I help it a bit, like waving a fart. It doesn't help really to wave the fart away, just spread it. But it worked here. Now I'm pre-drilling for my rubber feet. And it's time to sand with 320 to make that smooth and soft surface. Oh, I already did that. I'll go straight to the magic moment. Mineral oil, food grade. Yes, of course. We have to make food on this table. Look at that. Now that's beautiful. Oh my God. Yeah, all over, and it sucks up. Now it really sucks oil, especially the cherry wood. Just sucks and sucks and sucks. I could keep on pouring oil onto it. And I put quite a lot of oil on it. And now, beautiful. There you go. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Wow. And now we all fully understand why a cutting board like this is rather pricey. It takes a lot of work and a little skill too. Thank you for watching.